Hey, welcome back to part 29 of this invoice management system app, and hopefully this is gonna be the last video, unless if I receive some other requests. That always happens. So according to my plan, this is gonna be my last video for this tutorial. So this is what we're gonna try to achieve by the end of this video. I'm gonna have a login and logout button right here on the nav bar. If I click login, it should take us to this page, and I should be able to log in. And right after logging in, okay, let's try the password again. Right after logging in, it will redirect us to the list of invoices page, and it's gonna change the login button to your username, pipe, logout. All right, so this is what we're gonna do in this video. If you're not subscribed to this channel and you enjoy videos like this, I'll invite you to click on that subscribe button before you proceed onto this video. So we have a few steps that we can follow, but before we proceed, I'll invite you to head over to patreon.com and support us on this system development and all this YouTube thing, okay? And in return, we're gonna give you the entire source code of this application. All right, so that is not a requirement to have the source code, because you have all of that on this website. But if you just want to have the entire source code bundled together, the application itself, you can be our member or Patreon member, and you have access to the entire source code, all the source code. In fact, not just this invoice management system, but every single application that we cover on YouTube. All right, so let's get to setting up the invoice or the registration on our invoice management system. So the first step is to install Django registration redux. All right, so I'm gonna paste that right here. I have two terminals open, so we're gonna install that, which is already installed. All right, so we're gonna move to the next step. I'm gonna add registration to installed app, and it should be immediately above Django country app. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this line and open settings.py, which is already opened. So it's just gonna be above that. I'm gonna paste it right here, save it. Right after you save that, you'll have to do migrate. Okay, all right, so let's do that quickly. I guess that is already done when I was testing the setup, just to make sure the codes are all lined up properly on the site. So you're gonna do manage.py migrate. Okay, in my case it says no migration to apply, but if this is the first time you're doing it, there will be some migration that you have to run. All right, so next is to set up the login, redirect, and registration activation duration. Now I like to put this all the way down here on the settings file. Okay, and the first line is account activation days, 7 days. So this is if you allow user registration on a site, it will give them 7 days to activate the site before it deactivate that user, or activate their user account before it deactivates their user account. All right, so if users register, do you allow auto login? So true in our case. All right, so site ID is 1. So all the setup that we're doing is associated to site 1. By default, Django comes with site with an ID of 1. So that's what we're gonna do, or that's why we're gonna set up this registration. And if you already log in, or if you click login and login, where do you want the users to be redirected to? So I wanna redirect them to list invoices. Okay, so this is where I want to set them to be redirected. Okay, you can decide to use the home button or the home page. All right, so let's move to the next step. All right, so this is about the URLs. I'm gonna copy this from django.urls, import include. So this has to be in your urls.py file. So since we're gonna be having this part, let me copy both. I'm gonna paste them right here so I can explain it properly. Since you're gonna be using the Django registration URLs, which is within this app registration.backend.default.urls. So we want to include that into our application. So we're gonna make sure the include keyword is imported from Django.urls. We're gonna import include. That is the include right here, the one that we're using right there. So I'm gonna cut this and paste it just above here. All right, good. So we're gonna save that. So behind the Django registration, there are a lot of URLs that we're gonna include all by typing /accounts. Okay, so like if I type localhost/accounts, okay, so behind accounts you have login, you have logout, you have register, you know, activate URLs, you know, a bunch of URLs behind accounts. So that's what we are importing, okay, or we are including right here, and they have to be prefixed with this text or this keyword here, accounts. So behind accounts I can do login. Okay, so when I do login, okay, where does it take me? And wherever that it is requesting that we have to have base.html, and currently our application is set up to have home.html as our home page. So I'm gonna create a base HTML. What I'll do is I have home.html right here. I'm gonna file save as base.html. So the registration Redux works with base.html. okay, all right. So next is to copy this line, this block title and block, and then block content and block, and then paste in that base.html file, which is already pasted here since I was testing it. All right, so that's what we're gonna paste it, or you can paste it anywhere. So this is where I'm gonna paste it. Now to test it, we're gonna go to this app and refresh it. You can see we have our login username and also the password right here. Great. So I want to take out this, save it, refresh. We're gonna style this properly. I'm gonna also take out that. Don't worry about the look, we're gonna fix that very soon. Okay, so let's test that we're able to log in, but before that we'll have to create a user account. All right, we'll have to create a user account. So this is the login and logout URLs. So let's create a user account. I'm gonna do this, manager py create super user. All right, the username will be, I'm gonna use admin, and I'm gonna use admin at appcoms.com, and the password will be all right. So the account is already created. Let's try to log in with admin and the password that I just used to create. Okay, so you can see the login redirect just worked, but as it is, we can't tell if we are logged in or logged out. But just because it is redirecting us, that shows that the login redirect is working, and hopefully the login tool is working. So that next step is to create a buttons on our navbar to allow users to click to log in and also to log out. So I'm going to just copy this part, copy, and then paste it in navbar that is already open right here. I'm going to paste it just below the links. Okay, I'm gonna indent that properly and create a BR. Refresh the app, so you can see a logout button right here. Okay, I want to take out the list. I think I will have to update the quotes on the site. Let me take out the list right here, that one right there. Okay, I'm gonna save it, refresh. Great, so admin/logout. So this is how the admin is coming up. If requested user is authenticated, it's gonna show us this URL, account/logout. Then we're gonna create a button class, or a button with a class btn and btn danger. Okay, I guess, yeah, that is fine. So then it's gonna create the user that is logged in, and then it's gonna do this character and then log out. Okay, so that is when the users are logged in. This will be shown on the navbar. Else, that means if they're not logged in, it's gonna show them account/login. That means you can now click on this to log in. So I'm gonna add this button thing right here, and then enter button. Okay, so now if I click on the logout, we're gonna see login. Okay, and let's test that again. So you can see, because we are logged out, we have login right here. If I click login, then it's gonna do the redirection, and it's gonna show us the logout button right here. Okay, so that's all what you need to do to activate this login and logout on a Django site. Alright, so let's make our login page a little bit prettier. Okay, and if I go to login, we want to style this page a bit. This user account, or this template, is sitting right here. Okay, in the site packages, let's open that folder, and the app is called Invoice. There is the app right here. If I go into the environment, inside lib, you have the Python 3.8 or whatever Python that you're using. You have set packages. You'll see registration. Okay, so there's it. Inside registration, we should have the templates. We can have templates here. You have registration, and we should see login. Okay, so that is the template. I'm gonna right click and open with the text editor. Now what I want to do, since I'm not focusing on the the registration part, I want to turn off the reset and the registration. Okay, maybe we can look at that in another video, but in this one we just want to configure login and logout. So this is the registration part, yeah, the user reset part, and the registration. So I'm gonna take out all that. This is all what we need to do. So I'm gonna save and refresh. Okay, now let's style this page. Let's make this login button, or this login form, to appear at the middle of the page. Great. So I'm gonna go back to the base, the base.html file. So on this row, I'm gonna let's add Jumbotron. There is this class called Jumbotron in Bootstrap, and that makes the site have sorry, I'm not able to talk and fix this at the same time. Yeah, so that will give the form a little bit of room on top right here. Okay, it's gonna put it in a container. That container has some designs that I want to have, but you cannot see them right here with this Bootstrap template that we use. But I'm just gonna give it Jumbotron right here, class Jumbotron, save it, refresh. I think it's you, yeah, you. Great. So that is that. I want to add right here. I just don't want to code it myself. So next, what we're gonna do is to create I'm gonna create another class, div class column. I'm gonna give it 4. So I'm gonna repeat this 3 times. Okay, so the form right here will be in the middle one. I'm gonna cut it and put it right here in the middle class, or in the middle div. Paste it right here. Arrange that, save it, and see what we have. So you can see this will take you to the middle or to the center of the page. Yeah, so if you're not too sure about what I'm doing with these columns and rows that I'm creating, just look at my bootstrap video. You should be able to understand it. I already explained there in depth what they do. Okay, now what I want to do is to style this login button. That will be done right here in okay, I'm gonna go to the login HTML. So right here I want to I want to give this login button, this login, a class, a bootstrap btn class, and btn primary. Let's just give it primary. I will give it a blue color. Refresh. All right, great. So the form is not looking really pretty. I want to give it a crispy way of looking. I'm gonna just add crispy right here. Crispy, and we're gonna make sure we have the crispy keyword. Where do we, let's just look for any entry page, and I bring this crispy form tags right here so that we don't run into errors. Refresh. Great, so you can see how good it is looking. All right, so I guess that's what I have. Let's just take out that login. I don't really like seeing that login out there. Or we can even style it. We can style it. In fact, you can take it out, or you style this particular login key or this login text right here. But anyways, at the moment I just want to take it out. Okay, yeah, let's just take it out. So if you want to keep it there, you can style with it. So I believe this is looking really nice. I can try to log in again. Okay, we are logged in, and if I click logout, you can also style your logout page, but right now I'm not really going to do that, so I'm gonna let you do that on your own. Okay, before I proceed, you notice that if I click on the logout button, we still have the list invoice displayed, and the users can still go to list and to add new entry into our application. So to prevent this, you're gonna add login required decorator on your view. Okay, this is the first step to make sure that users are not able to log in or to access the data when they're not logged in. So to add, I'm going to add the login up. Let's import it first. I'm going to import it right here, and then I'm going to add this login required decorator right here, and I'm going to add it right here as well. Okay, so you can add it to all your views. Okay, for the update as well, we're gonna add it right there. Delete, we're gonna add it right there. So I'm gonna save this, and if I log out, right now we are logged out. I mean, if I click this, it's gonna force the users to go to the login, and here you can see accounts login next list invoice. So it already knows where the user wants to go to, but they're not logged in. It will bring you down to the login window, and if you are logged in, it will now redirect you to wherever you wanted to go. So the same will be for the entry page. You can see add invoice. Okay, now the next step, we want to hide these two buttons when the users are not logged in. Let's see if I have that code. Yep, actually I have it right here. So you just have to add the if the users are not registered, they should not be able to see that button. So at navbar, we already have it here, in fact. Okay, so I'm gonna have to copy this. I'm gonna cut it and then paste it right above here. So all of this should be accessible by users if they are logged in. Else, this is the only button that they're gonna see. I'm gonna save that and refresh the home page. While we are logged out, you can see all the menus disappear. Only the login button will be right there. Okay, so that's what they can access if they're not logged in. And if they remember the URL, put the URL right here, okay, the direct URL right here. Let's say add invoice. It's gonna force them to log in first before they're able to get to that URL. Okay, so those are the two pieces that we have to fix before we end this tutorial or this application. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. That's gonna be tentatively, it's gonna be the end of this tutorial, unless if I have a very good request that I can add to this playlist. Otherwise, see you in the next tutorial. I have a lot more series coming up, so watch out for that. Bye bye for now.